Hello, hi there, namaste. So, in this video, we'll discuss about fallback status point. So, in the previous class, I informed that we'll be discussing the fallback status point in separate video, right? So, let's discuss about this fallback status point. So, what is fallback status point and why it can use? So, we can use this fallback status point to monitor client deployments for Windows computers. Okay. We can also identify the Windows computers clients that they are unmanaged because they can't communicate with the management point. So we can uh, identify the clients which are not communicating with the management point as well. And it provides an alternate location for the clients to send status messages during the installation when they are unable to communicate with the MP. Okay. And the installation of the FSP role is supported on the child primary site and standalone primary site only. Okay, not the CAS and secondary sites. Okay. And the following client types don't use the fallback status point, which are Mac computers and mobile client computers. Okay, so only Windows computers only able to use this fallback status point. Okay, while deploying the client deployment. Okay, so next, so is it required? So is it requirements? Is it really required to install the FSP role in a system? Okay, fine. So if you say is it required, the fallback status point is then optional. Okay, it's an optional site system role, but recommended. Okay, recommended for the client deployments. So remember this thing. So FSP is an optional. It's not required to install the FSP role in any site system server, but it is a recommended thing. The fallback status point isn't required to monitor client activity and client health as well. Okay, so to monitor the client health and client activity is not required. It's only required for the client deployment tools. Okay, so remember this thing. So next, risk and solutions. So the fallback status point always communicate with the client over HTTP. Okay, remember this thing, which uses unauthenticated connections and sends data in clear text. So remember this thing as well. So it will send the data in clear text, and also it will use the unauthenticated connections. Okay, so it will be a risk to our environment. So this behavior makes fallback status point vulnerable to attack. Okay, remember this thing, and particularly when it is using, it's used with the internet-based client management. Okay, so when you are using the cloud management and the everything, so on that case, it really vulnerable to attack. Also, it is saying don't install the fallback status point if security risk of running a website with the unauthenticated and clear text transfers overweigh the benefits of identifying the client communication problems. Okay, so I hope you understand this point. So if you are thinking the client communication problems is more than the security risk, you can install the FSP. Okay, otherwise please don't install the FSP in the site systems. Okay, if you want to install FSP, you need to use the dedicated server. Okay, dedicated server to the FSP, and don't install other system roles on that server. Okay. So it is recommended thing. Don't install the other system roles on the same server in the production environment. Okay. So fine. You want to install FSP, so use a dedicated server, and don't install any other SMS, system roles. For example, the MP or the DP, any other SVP like that. Okay. So next. So only use if these conditions are applied. Okay. So if you want to client communication errors from the Windows computers to be sent to the site, even if these client computers cannot communicate with the MP, and also if you want to use this configuration manager client deployment reports, which replace the, which displays the data sent by the fallback status point, and you have the dedicated server, okay, for this FSP role, and have additional security measures, okay, to help protect the server from the attack. And the benefits of using FSP overweigh the any security risk associated with the unauthenticated connections and the clear text transfers. Okay. So if you think it is required in your environment, and you have the dedicated server for this, and you have the additional security measurements as well, so you can good to use the FSP role. Okay. So next, fallback status point installation. So we'll see the installation of this fallback status point. Okay. So the considerations again, we need the dedicated server for it, and don't install the other side system roles. And also, if you want to run the system roles with other any roles or domain controller, it will be a security risk. Okay. So, and also each fallback status point can support 1 lakh clients. Okay. So in your environment, if you have more than 1 lakh client devices, you can use the two FSP roles. Okay. And then for security reasons, you can't assign the FSP to clients after they install. You can only assign the role during the installation, which means before you plan the client deployments in your environment, you install the FSP first and then plan the client deployments. Okay, this is the main point. So the requirements. What are the requirements we need? So for the server roles and features, we need the bits and the IIS configuration as the management compatibility. We need a metaverse compatibility. Okay, so we need two things: bits and the IIS metaverse compatibility. Once you have this, you can go to install the FSP role. Okay, so next, so the configurations. So before discussing about the configurations, let's install the FSP. Okay, let's configure the FSP in dedicated server. So in our lab, we have the FSP dedicatedly in separate server. I mean, we have the separate server dedicatedly for the FSP role. So we will start configuring that server. Okay, so let's start. So we have the dedicated FSP system. So we are in the administrator and the server and site system roles. So I'm going to create a one new site system server. So I need to browse the server name. It's the FSP only, and we can use the site code, and we are using the default computer account only. So click next. So if you have any site system account, you can use that one. There is no issue. Click next, and role selection. Selecting the FSP, fallback status point. So click next. So here we have the configuration. So before discussing the configuration, so I'd like to check the FSP server first. So here we have the FSP in the remote controller. So here we already installed the bits, okay, and the IIS metaverse compatibility. So you can close this wizard. And also we need to add the site system in the local admin. So we need to use that one. So lusr mgr.msc. So here we need to add the site system role. I mean the site system computer, primary site computer. So our primary site computer is the config mgr. Oh, sorry. So config mgr. Okay, it's our primary site. So we added the primary site in the local admin group. Okay, so click apply and okay. Okay, fine. So now we are good to install the FSP role from the primary site, okay, because we added the computer account in the local admin, and also we install the bits and the IIS metaverse compatibility. And also we have the dedicated drive for it. So I used the D drive for the FSP, and I already mentioned the SMS on drive file in C drive. So we are good to go with it. D drive, it will install in the D drive only. To minimize. So now the configuration. So here it's saying allow client connections. So I didn't configure the CMG yet. That's why it is saying only, no, it's already taken the allow internet connections only. If you have the CMG configured, so you can have the another option for the internet devices as well. So on that case, you need to select either internet or internet for it. Okay. So we already discussed in the PPT for the security purpose. If you use the FSP with the internet-based computers, it will be vulnerable. So only you need to use the internet devices only. Okay. So it's already taken the internet devices, no issue. So next thing is the number of state messages and the throttle interval. So here it is saying specify the number of state messages to process within the throttle interval. Okay. When a site system server process many state messages, it might decrease the performance of the site server. Okay. So here by default it is taking the number of state messages as the 10,000 state messages, and the total interval at the 3600, which means the 1 hour nearly. Okay. So at the 1 hour of time, it will process the 10,000 state messages. Okay. It is the default configuration. Okay. So okay. So let's take a simple example in this configuration. So by default, it is processing the 10,000 state messages within 1 hour of time. Correct. So you can change them when both conditions are true, which means the fallback status point accept the connections from the internet, only from the internet, and fallback status point during the client deployment role for the many computers. I mean, you're processing the many computers in the client deployment. Okay. And each computer that successfully installs the configuration manager client sends the following 4 state messages, okay, which are client deployment started and succeeded, and assignment started and succeeded. Okay, so if the insertion fails or maybe something happens, the clients will also send additional state message to the FSP as well. Okay, so then next. So here we'll take a simple example. So for example, you have the 20,000 computers. Okay, you have one device connection, and you deployed the client for these 20,000 computers. Okay, so for example, we said the successful installed clients will send the 4 messages, right? So you can multiply the 4 state messages. Okay. So completely you can have the 80,000 state messages, correct? So the 80,000 state messages will start processing from the FSP to site, okay, FSP to primary site. So by default, we have the 10,000 state messages for the 1 hour of time, correct? So state messages might become backlog on the FSP, obviously. So you are sending the 80,000 state messages to the FSP2 site system, and you have configured by default 10,000 in an hour. So for 1 hour, it will configure only 10,000 messages. And remaining 70,000 state messages will be in the backlog, will be in the FSP staging folder. Okay. After 1 hour, you can process the another 10,000, and remaining 60,000 will be in the backlog. Okay, like that. So it will have some backlogging issues. So as a considered available network bandwidth as well, okay, between the FSP and the site server, and also the processing power of the site server to process this many state messages. Okay. So to prevent these backlogging issues, so consider an increase in the number of state messages and decrease in the throttle interval. For example, by default, we have the 10,000 state messages and the 1 hour of time, right? So you can increase like 30,000 state messages, and also we can decrease the time within the 30 minutes. Okay. And you can reset this configuration whenever the following conditions are true. You can calculate the current throttle values are higher than the required process. You can reduce the configuration. And also, you can find the current throttle settings are higher, I mean, creating the higher process usage on the site server. And that purpose only, you can reduce the configuration. So, for example, you have only a less number of computers. For example, you have only 5,000 computers, right? 5,000 into 4, it will be like 40,000. For example, let's say you are very less computers. For example, you say like 100 computers and plus 4 have the 4,000 shared messages need to send. Okay. So currently we configured the 10,000 for the 1 hour of time, right? In this case, it is the higher amount. So we're processing 4,000 only, but we configured 10,000. In this case, you can reduce the amount of the shared messages as well. So for example, you can make it like 8,000 shared messages, and the time as so you can reduce the time for the 30 minutes. Okay. Like that, you can decrease the configuration if required. You can increase the configuration as well. Okay. And here it's saying don't change the settings unless you understand the consequences. Okay, this is the main concept. If you understand the consequences, you can change the, you can decrease or increase the configuration as well. Okay, for example, by you are saying this, for example, when you increase the throttle settings to high, the processor usage on the site server can increase to high. This causes slowness in the other components. For example, which slows down the all site operations. For example, you have the SUP, or you have the something like app deployments. Okay, so it will impact these tasks. Okay, so we'll complete the setup. We are in the middle of the setup, right? We'll complete the setup now. So you can click next here. and next again, and close. So now we have FSP side system and the roles as well, FSP role. So in the FSP server, you can see the SMS folder is created just now, and it is creating some files. So we'll allow some time, okay? It need to create the other folder as well, SMS underscore CCM. Okay, so we'll allow some time to install this FSP. So in the meantime, so we have the another to discuss, which means the log file reference. So we have this much of log files, okay? So we have here FSP ISAPI. So it records the details about communication to the FSP from mobile client and the client computers, okay? So it will be located in the flight system server, which means the FSP server, okay? And FSP MSI.log, which records the messages generated by the installation of Fallback status point. So while installing the FSP, it will record the installation status. Okay, it's also in the FSP server. And FSP MGR.log. It records the activities of the FSP. Okay, so it's also in the FSP server. And then we have FSP state message.log. Okay, so this records the activity for the state messages that are sent from the FSP. I mean sent to the FSP by the client. Okay, so whatever the clients are sending the message to the FSP, those records will be available in this FSP state message.log. Okay, it's in the client system location. So client location means C drive, Windows, or CCM folder, logs. You can have this log file. Okay. So next. So here we have some other example. So here we intentionally failed one client deployment. Okay. So I already informed if it is failed or success, it will send the state message to the FSP, right? So here it is sending the state messages with the topic ID, and the topic ID okay, has been sent to the FSP server. So we have the outbox here in the D drive. So we are installing the D drive, right? So SMS MP outboxes state messages dot box. Here you can find the state messages waiting to process. Okay. Here we have .smf files. So the state message files .smf files. Okay. And also we can find the other location as well. Here SMS underscore CCM and the FSP staging. So here you can see this number of files. Okay. So for example, you have the for example you have the 80,000 shared messages are processed, and by default you have the 10,000 per 1 hour. So remaining 70,000 shared messages will be available in this FSP staging folder. Okay. It will process one by one. Okay. That's it. So I already informed FSP are sending clear text messages, right? So if you open this SMF files in a notepad, so it will be look like this. So you can have the client installation status and client type, and also the client version, and also the BIOS name here. Okay, and also the MAC address mainly. Okay, so like this, you can have the clear text messages sending from the okay, client to FSP, and then FSP is processing to the site server. So we already discussed FSP. Using FSP will be a security risk because it is sending the clear text data in a clear text, and as well as using the HTTP AD port, right? So this is the data it is sending in a clear text format. This is the reason it will be a security risk. So any hackers can hack the our systems by using the FSP because it is using the AD port and the data in clear text format. So fine, that's it for the FSP installation. So we'll see the FSP installation. So is it really completed or not? Okay, let's check. So fine, we have the FSP server here, and also two folders, SMS and SMS underscore CCM. Okay, so we can check the log files here, SMS logs. So to open logs, we need a CCM trace. So let's open the CCM trace first. Pick MGR. So tools, we have CCM trace. So I'm copying this one to the local drive, read drive. So SMS logs, here you have SMS FSP setup.log. See, therapy started and installing prerequisites and completed installation of prerequisites and installing SMS FSP. So OS checks passed, IIS service also installed. So it is saying no version of FSP are installed. Okay, so installing new SMS FSP. Fine. So it is installing the new SMS FSP and enabling the log file as well. So here we have the log file, FSP msi.log. You can see that log file as well. So here we have the FSP msi.log. This recording the status as well. So here you can see Windows installer, Windows installer install the product name, configuration manager, fallback status point, and the product version, and the installation status error 0. It means successfully installed. Okay. So like this, we install the FSP role successfully in this FSP server. Okay, fine. So that's it, friends. This is about the FSP and the FSP installation as well. See you soon in our next class. Until then, have a great day. Bye.